As if this journey hasn't been deep enough, this new moon in Scorpio is about to take us deeper into our emotional components, our emotional aspects, and be able to shine some light on our shadows. But where the skeptical Scorpio comes in and wants to distrust that, it's time for us to shift our perception and choose that we can transform and alchemize this energy. So stay tuned, because I'm going to share with you in this video 3 ways to navigate this turbulent time. Hello everyone. In case we haven't met, my name is Dr. Harmony, and I hope you live fearless, live loved, and live free. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when all my videos and content come live. Today I'm going to bring you 3 areas of focus that you can focus on within this new moon energy for Scorpio on November the 4th, 2021. Before we do that, talk about the energy of Scorpio and what this is affecting and addressing with all of us. And again, where that is aligning in the planets, the stars can go deeper within certain parts of your life. And if you'd like to know more information about that, make sure to check out the astrology readings that Tatiana has done for the month of November, and even backdate to the ones in October, because we had a lot of energy and portals leading up to this energy for November that is going to be very, very intense for the month of November. Intense, emotional chaos, so to speak. And if you've been resisting your abilities to feel and see what it is you need to see on the deepest sides of yourself, then you're going to have more resistance to this process unfolding. But if you can come into a place of surrender and allowing, it will help you open up to the deepest parts of yourself. And there'll be lots of experiences that you've already went through that now you're really trying to collect all the pieces as you go deeper within at this timeline. And so this opening portal of the new moon, and new is typically all about, new beginnings. Okay. And what it is it is a new beginning on how we implement the patterns of action that we take. However, we've been learning how to navigate new territory and creating space and letting go of what's not working for so long that we're really getting tired, And so to have to dig deeper, to see more, to feel more, it can be exhausting, really. And if you're feeling that, please let me know. On the flip side of that, because of that intensity and how deep it is, it can also be like explosive and volcanic and, really help kind of expand who you are, really. So before we dive deep into the skeptical shadows that Scorpio brings to us to connect to those emotions, make sure to check out also the link below for my book, Twin Flame Codebreaker, and also put a card above. That way you make sure that you can tap into this free offer I have for my online digital version that is offered on Amazon. And so during this full moon, for the 24-hour period in Pacific Standard Time of 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. on the 4th, you'll be able to get a copy of my book for free. So the first thing that you can expect during this intense shift with Scorpio new moon is the need to come into acceptance of radical change. And so what I'm saying by this, as this came to me, was we've done a lot of work. We've went through a lot of rapid shifts. We've had a lot of change taking place in our life, but now we're coming into a place of we have all these things that we've been going through and for a long time, but especially more recently in this year and even over the last few months that has changed in our life. And now we're needing to come into acceptance of the change that has accumulated in our reality, really, and within. And so we need to stop focusing on the problem of what we see as all of our problems, because we're going to constantly have chaos. We're going to constantly have this navigating this journey, and this journey is going to be never ending. But if we continue to dig deeper, to look for the problems, to tackle them from a place of judgment and a sense that, you're trying to arrive somewhere, you're trying to complete something, then basically you're continuing to create tower moments for yourself. Where you put your energy is where it's continually expanding and growing. And if you're constantly focusing on that problem or your twin flame or the negative experiences or the hell or the dark night of the soul, you're going to keep creating more of it. So if you keep going through all these things, you got to shift your focus to the solutions and to be able to put your energy into the solution. Now, for me personally, one of the things, I've always been a solution-oriented person, and that's where I put my energy. And I actually have kind of avoided paying attention to the problems. But one of the things that's really come into my awareness lately is the fact that I did separate from problems, didn't focus on them. And because I kind of skated over them and stayed so solution oriented, then I missed out on the opportunity to technically see some of the things I need to see as to also why they're repeating. And now I know this gets deep because I got to repeat that because I just gained out of that. Okay, this is deep. Everybody's in different spectrums of this. Some people have been so problem oriented they can't see the solutions. Okay, and you need to shift into the solution. But in my case, I was so solution oriented, separated from the problem. And even though I might have could see what the problem was, I wasn't taking a look at the problem long enough to see what was in the layers of what was triggering or recreating the problem to begin with, so that I could actually in that put my solutions into managing why the problem keeps coming up. Now, I'm going to give you an example of this. So for one, for me is, my work and my mission and constantly on the go and being able to create more of openness and things differently. Now that I'm married and my whole life has shifted and Julian and I live together and it's a whole new way to navigate my daily experiences. We also come from the opposite polarities of I am tend to be super fast at things, and he's slower at things. His processing is different, and he navigates it differently. And he comes from it, he might go into a monk state and stay in a state of stillness, but that stillness means no outward movement, where I'm still inside but I'm taking the outward movement. And so that can feel like it's kind of in these two different planes, right? But in the neutrality of that, it's basically he's slowing me down and I'm speeding him up, so we find balance together in balancing ourselves as we harmonize this joint mission that is sucking us into a vortex to go forward. So as this comes together and aligns in this manner, then that internally creates these shifts. And so what I've been noticing in that, it's that I know that I need to slow down in some of those areas. I know I need to be more intentional, more enjoyable, more present, and more monk-like in a sense, even though I really am. But with that, I just want to say I have found so much stillness in the movement that because I don't hang on to all this stuff that slows me down that I have to process, think about. I can go through those thinking processes and maneuver so quickly that I don't hang on to things, which is also good. But again, there's balance in that. But what I am seeing is that it's taken me to a place of enjoyment and feeling like I have to move or keep doing things or keep up with certain things and spinning plates. And now don't get me wrong, I have downsized that a lot, and you would think there's no more left to do. But again, this is never ending. So my dad just recently passed away. We're taking my mom on a trip. I feel like I need to get super focused. I have all these things that want to birth. It can be quite overwhelming to know you have all this information and you need to put it into action, but you're not getting the action out or the capacity to be able to have the action for it based on, energy levels or different things you're going through, or your own personal processing on top of it all, as all this is happening in so many dimensions. And I knew enough in myself to know these feelings of me not allowing myself on some level to have this sense of enjoyment, to step away from all this without feeling like things are just not getting done or, not collapsing. And while I have a one sense, I've been feeling out of balance because it's been for a long standing this year that I've kind of stepped away more and more to take care of me. And I see the good in that because that is self-love, and I've came into acceptance of all of that. But what this whole process has taken me through to is seeing where a program, so I started asking, I'm feeling, where did this program start that I'm not giving myself permission, and why am I repeating the cycles of continuing to be put in positions to feel like I cannot let go or can't relax or can't enjoy until or by stepping away from these things that I need to take care of, and they're self-chosen things to take care of because I'm the generator and the activator of what I've created in that, but giving myself permission to relax and to let go and to be more. And trust me when I tell you, like, those words, I feel and felt like I have managed those. But going back to where it began, when I started asking my higher self and my subconscious, I was shown that, I started working at 11 years old, and I didn't have to. I had the same job for 9 years. I was never a child. I worked. All I knew was to work. And I would, spend every weekend working. When children at 11 years old would go out and play, and I would work after school. And, my parents had married me off at 15. So I just never was a child, really. I didn't know what it's like to be a child. And this whole journey I've been saying is returning to my innocence of the childhood to learn how to be a kid, to have fun. And that's the one thing that that's been coming up is, what am I missing? And I am missing fun. That's consistent fun, because everything feels like work, and having to go through this journey is work just on the personal side of this. And then, I don't consider what I do work because I love it so much. But on the flip side of it, it is out of balance to some degree, even though it really hasn't been on the other end because I've really stepped away to take care of me. So this is about coming into the radical acceptance of the changes that's taken place, and to no longer ignore the things that aren't working, that we need to see, that are the deepest sides of ourselves. Again, this is the deepest side. It's not like I haven't done this before. It's another layer, and it's coming at it from a whole new level of acceptance that is radical acceptance at the end of the day of not just the change that's taking place on the outside, but the change that's taking place on the inside of all of this. So if you're experiencing all this, make sure to, one, let me know if you're going back, because I have a lot of clients that are going back into their childhood wounds that are right now experiencing some major shift in their life, or some major pattern, I should say, that they are been repeating. That's been a common pattern, but a really deep one that's not been seen. So I had an appointment, Julian and I did, with our own spiritual advisor last night. And I told her, I said, okay, I've tracked this down to my 11-year-old little girl that went to work. But why I did that as a child, which I never really thought to ask that question until this was coming up. Why did I even choose that at 11? I didn't have to choose that. Why did I choose that? And so before she could even answer me, Julian was answering me saying that, and she agreed with him, is that, at 11 years old, in the energy of my household, that my whole life was about getting out of that energy. And I got to tell you, we're going on a trip coming up with my mom after my dad passing, and going to Florida and taking her. And I'm having resistance to that trip due to I need to be home taking care of things because it's been quite a year, and this is where this is digging up. And then, part of that is I can see now, like that come up, that's how I've separated myself from my family and, my parents and my mom to some degree, because I always separated from their stuff to stay busy in my own little world rather than getting sucked into that patterns of other people. So I know that was a lot and I know it was deep, but let me know how you're navigating this as far as the acceptance and, of what's going on in the deep emotional parts that this moon is showing you. So the second thing that will really help you navigate this intense energy as you go into these deep emotions that's triggering a lot of those deep fears or limitations or expectations or things that you have done through your programs and your patterns and this whole journey of your whole life and your whole existence, period, is to alchemize your fear into love. And basically the way you do that is that you see every situation and every circumstance and every experience with love. And that is anything that's good or bad. And so I've been experiencing this a lot. Now, I've worked with alchemy for a long time, knowing that. But something really clicked since Julian and I have been working together to alchemize our own healing with the love we carry together and holding space for each other, which, by the way, our Holding Space series, we've got more videos coming on that. So stay tuned because we got a lot of information to help you be able to overcome the rejection by your twin flame or overcome your betrayal that you're feeling. And that was all sparked by a question about how to handle that or how to manage that when you need space and they're feeling rejection. And so if you've been experiencing something like that or have a question that you'd like for us to share or discuss, make sure to put a comment below as well so that we can add that to our list of topics that we're going to cover and share answers for. But back to the point of this is that the alchemy, when we think about what alchemy is, it's about transforming a low vibration into a high vibration or from one matter to another matter in materials. Alchemy is the shifting of who we've been to who we're becoming. And as we go through these rapid change, that's creating a lot of shifts from one reality to another reality. Right? And so because we're shifting so fast, we're alchemizing all of this. And because we're doing it within, we're doing it for the collective as well. And we're changing the way that humanity handles their thoughts, feelings, emotions, habits, and interactions with other people and relationship dynamics and, the fulfillment that we desire and want and the love that we want to experience. But one of the things I will tell you in this whole process, and especially when it comes to that first one of that, accepting that radical change, that requires a lot of trust. Okay. And that's why in the Scorpio energy of this, Scorpios are very skeptical. They don't trust. So a lot of fear is going to show up at this time in order for you to cleanse and clear what's no longer working in a sense of that trust where you're not trusting yourself or this journey. And rather than going through an old pattern of like letting that fear rob you of your experience of like, say, a positive outcome or to create inner chaos and you're being robbed of the inner stillness, I should have said, you basically know that you're the alchemist and that you are the transformer of how you feel, and that's done through your choices, and to know that you have the ability through the power within you is to know that it is your choice and how you choose to experience these things. So our perceptions are being really tested here on what do we see, because I'm going to tell you right now, in this deep area, as deep as it gets, and so many people are getting super deep, it boils down to two people having different perspectives and knowing that we're not living linear here, we're living multidimensional, and that these different perspectives, these different viewpoints, these different places exist, and that we have to be patient enough and able to communicate enough to be able to experience the depths of this stuff with others, not and not to mention within ourselves. So if you can, in this perception, begin to start to see the experience with love, see the gift in it, see the reflection back to yourself in the other person, your twin flame, for example, if they're triggering you and they're causing you to feel your wounds to come up, that are feeling, betrayed or rejected or these other things, know that that is not their actions doing it. It's your response to the reactions of the wound within yourself, and take accountability in that and stop blaming them. Then from there, you can look within and realize they're teaching you to find yourself. And as you find yourself, and as you face yourself, and as you face those shadows, and you begin to face the fear and then love the fear and stop resisting that, then that becomes that person. Your twin flame in this case is your gift to you, is to help you see you, to help you love you, which now can help you shift above the pain, the fear, the resistance, the blame, the lack of ability to forgive. It helps you now see from a different place that they gave you the opportunity, that it happened for you to be able to see in yourself what it is you weren't seeing, and to be able to realize that what they did for you is technically a gift to you, for you being able to see you and see now you're transforming your perception and your projection onto them of a negative experience, and showing and shining love on it, and realizing they're a gift to you, and finding the gratitude in that. And you just transformed that lower frequency into love, and you're alchemizing the whole situation, which will be the trajectory of a shift and radical change within what's going to happen in and around you. So the third thing that's going to help you navigate these turbulent waters in this whole entire month of November, because as we shift through this new moon portal, it's only going to get more intense by the full moon and the partial eclipse that we're going to have, that lunar eclipse we're going to have at the end of this month on the 19th of November, is to align with your heart. And to know that this whole journey that you've been on is about coming home to your heart. And that's where the twin flame comes into this, and you create the shattered heart, and you become open, and you've experienced the pain, and you alchemize it by putting the pain into a purpose, and you're feeling more fulfillment and more desire. And so to align with the heart really begins to allow you to learn how to live from your heart. And what that really means is learn how to live in the state of love I mentioned, to learn how to view every situation through your heart and not your head, not to analyze it, not to put the ego within it, to step out of the loop of this continuation of these programs and these patterns, but to really come into your know, and your know of being able to say, I can trust this change, because I know within myself that these are experiences that I am able to experience to feel more, be more, do more. And this is going to help you begin to start to, as you see through your heart, it's going to be super clear that you get clear on what you desire, knowing that you are the alchemist, knowing you can create the situations, knowing you can make choices that are different. And to do that, one of the things that really will help you bring that into your presence in this moment is to stop waiting for something to show up in your life or what you desire in your life. But first of all, getting clear in your life what you desire, that does take some intentional action through the mind to see these things. And the more power you put into it from a place of intention, the more clear you can get on what you desire, knowing you are the alchemist, and the more clear you actually get on it, it actually helps you to get that clear by knowing what you don't want. So knowing what you don't want allows you to see more clearly what you do want. So sometimes we have to go on the opposite polarity to understand the opposite side of what we really are wanting out of it, or we couldn't see it that clear. So there again, alchemize that. I'm going through what I don't want to know what I do want. That right there shifts the energy. And in addition to that, then, is now that you're getting clear on what you want, be able to then start to take the actions from this place of saying that I don't have to wait for it, because if I want fulfillment in my life, if I want purpose in my life, I'm going to wake up and start making intentional actions, thoughts, and feelings that's going to allow me to feel joy in my life now. And one of the ways that will really help you do that is to start to give what you desire, and to show up in a place of, I'm going to give you an example for me. Whenever I had COVID, I really felt like I really needed a cheerleader. I need somebody to like support me, somebody to listen to me, somebody to show up for me in a place that was holding space for me, somebody to make me feel safe and secure, and that I could just confide in, and that would be there. If nothing, like nothing else, just be there and support me and say, you got this, you can do this. And so I really didn't have it at that time. And I started seeing in other situations with the people that I had in my life that they didn't have it either. And I saw a need that they had, and I recognized the need because I had the same need in myself. And so I started giving to these people in my life what I saw they needed, and I can only see they needed it because I needed it. And the minute I started giving them what they wanted, you know, there can be, and I'm not going to say this hasn't happened in some situations that I still experience with this as I evolve through this. It's like, but I want that. And why am I giving it if I need it? Like, I need to need it first. And it's not fair if it's out of balance. If I give it and I'm not getting it. So you're giving it in trust that it exists in your life, and that it exists, and you create it, and you begin to show up giving what you desire. And then what happens is, and it doesn't even have to be from the same person, but all of a sudden, I experienced this. I'll be writing about it. So impactful that the person started realizing what I was doing, and realizing and trusting, and could let go that, wow, somebody has got my back. And they started giving more return, showing up more return, being open more return, being more caring for me in return. And I didn't ask for it. It was totally unconditional. And not only that, it opened the space for what I was giving to attract what I am into my life. And so more people outside of that started showing up to support me, to be there for me, to hold space for me. And that's whenever I really tapped into the being open to receive the protector, the lover, and the magnetism of that within my life, and the love of my life, and Julian and I aligning. And so I'm telling you, this works. So start living from your heart and stop waiting to have what it is you want. Align with your heart's desires. Get in your knowing, and then start giving what you desire, and you're going to create what you desire, that process. So, wow, that was very beautiful. I could feel the energy. So what I will tell you in closing in this is to make sure that in this like turbulent time that we're going to have through the month of November, I want you to know that that turbulence is your choice. You have the choice to go through these rough waters and to see it as a bad thing, or you can alchemize it. And I already see things that are coming up that are even in my chart, so to speak, and which, by the way, make sure to check out Tatiana's charts below and her videos also about the astrology for November, because her and I did some videos that are really deep into deeper like information astrologically based on everything I'm telling you. So, but in that, make sure to check that out, and know, as I was saying, that as I kind of like went deeper in all of that myself, I just knew it was going to be my choice on how I choose to navigate this month. So I'm already mapping out things that I see in my chart that are showing me it's going to be turbulent, and here's where it's going to be turbulent, and this is what you could expect. So because I can see that, I can already, before it all comes to play, choose to shift my reality, choose to shift my perception, and choose to know it's my experience and how I navigate that turbulence. So Make sure to get checked in and plugged into the my free book, Twin Flame Codebreaker. Links to be above and below. And may you always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Check out all the ways you can go forward with me. And I look forward to seeing you upcoming videos, and have a fabulous new moon.